This is Critical Argument Part 4. You should have by now had a look at the handout exercise 2. If you haven't, please do so now. And have that handout open with you while you go through these slides. In handout exercise 2, you have 6 pieces of evidence about the use of tobacco and its economic effects. Read these 6 pieces of evidence a few times and then organise them into categories. Do some pieces agree or do they differ? Which ones confirm the benefits of tobacco use and which ones argue that it is not beneficial? Decide on a position that you could take from looking at this evidence. You will have noticed that the 6 pieces of evidence can be very conveniently divided into arguments that say tobacco use is beneficial and arguments to say it is harmful. Pieces number 1, 5 and 4 have arguments affirming the positive economic effects of tobacco use, whereas pieces number 6, 3 and 2 argue that tobacco use is harmful for society. This can pose a problem for students in their work. You often will find that there is an equal amount of evidence on both sides of an issue. So what do you do? How you interpret these pieces of evidence, or how you weigh up the balance, depends on your worldview or your experience. For example, if you were the son of a primary producer in Cuba, you would interpret these pieces of evidence very differently to someone who was the daughter of a shopkeeper in Newcastle. So depending on your outlook on the world, you will see a different argument in the same pieces of evidence that everyone else has. Here are some possible positions that could be taken on the basis of these 6 pieces of evidence. You can see that they are quite different arguments and each one is based on a different worldview. For example, number 1, this person has decided that on balance, even though there is evidence to say that it is harmful to society, tobacco use is beneficial for economic reasons. Whereas number 4, this person has decided that even though there might be all those other economic benefits, those benefits are really confined to developed countries at the expense of developing countries. So you can make an argument of any kind that goes beyond a simple yes or no answer. Now, for this part of the exercise, you can take one of those positions suggested, or you might have another position that you have come to from reading those 6 pieces of evidence. Whatever your position is, write it down. It's a simple thesis statement in answer to the question, is tobacco use harmful or beneficial? Now, remembering the HRSA sample that we saw and remembering that the principles of sustained argument and acknowledging other points of view, construct an argument to support your position. Organise your ideas into a logical sequence. Your argument must include all 6 pieces of evidence, which means that it won't be a one-sided argument. It will be an argument that acknowledges reasons and evidence that challenge your position. But you will incorporate that challenge in a way that strengthens your own argument. Take as long as you need to do this exercise. If you have taken some time to do this exercise, you will find it useful to reflect on some questions about critical thinking. Remember your initial response to that essay question about the use of tobacco. Was your initial response affirmed by constructing the argument you just did, or did you actually change that initial response? Did those pieces of evidence make you think a bit differently about the issue? Maybe they didn't, but at least if they didn't, at least now you know why. You have some arguments to give. And you might think about, has this process that we've gone through changed your very first ideas about what you thought critical thinking was?